Hey everybody, it's Holly here today with a new video for Marker Pop, and today we are creating a fun 4th of July card. We're going to be using the Patriotic Owl card from Whippersnapper Designs. This first card I'm showing you is the first one that I made, and I did that on some Express It cardstock. And here is the stamp, and this is a cling mount red rubber stamp, and you just put it on any acrylic block. Then we're also going to be using the Groove Sentiment is from the Altenew Superscript set. We're going to use Let's Celebrate. And I'm going to be using the My Favorite Things Wonky Stitch Rectangle Die Stack set. This is like my favorite stacks, I think, from My Favorite Things. And we're going to be using the Doodlebug Designs Patriotic Picnic 6x6 pad. It's got lots of fun little designs that's perfect for 4th of July. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to use a piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and I'm going to use that inside my mini Misty. I did speed parts of this video up because it was over an hour long. So now when you're using the mini Misty, you want to take the insert out, the foam piece out, because when you're using a cling mount stamp that has a padding on it, you need to have that extra depth in there. So you take the inserts out and then you just put it in like you would a photopolymer or a clear stamp. I'm going to use some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. What's great about the Misty is you can double stamp if you don't get the perfect image the first time. My image wasn't as bright as I wanted, so I can go ahead and stamp again a second time. And then I'm going to go ahead and run that through my Big Shot with the largest of the Wonky Stitch rectangle dies. And then I'm going to go ahead and get started coloring with my Copics. So I'm just going to go ahead and play some music. I put the colors at the top of the screen so you can see. So I'll be back when all my coloring's done. finishing up some of the coloring there, and I'm going to put the image back into the Mini Misty, and then I did replace that foam insert back in there because I'm going to be using a clear stamp. I'm going to go ahead and line up my sentiment where I want it. It was a little tricky getting that let's to stay attached to the paper there. I'm using the Mini Misty again because I'm going to be using a solid stamp, so I want to be able to double stamp that if I have to get a nice dark image. I'm going to be using some VersaFine Black Onyx ink. And then here I'm going to show you the card I colored on the Nina Solar White cardstock, and then the first one that I did on the Express It cardstock. I wanted to show you the difference. The Express It cardstock, you can see it gives a smoother finish when you're coloring with your Copics, but the image is a little bit lighter, where it's more brighter on the Nina Solar White cardstock. So that's something to think about when you're coloring and choosing what kind of cardstock you're going to color on. And here I'm going to go ahead and pick through my pattern paper and pick out 2 more designs. And these designs are double-sided, as is all of Doodlebug's little paper pads. I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 of these using that same large wonky stitch die from the stacks. I'm going to go ahead and run those through my Big Shot. Now I'm using some temporary adhesive here to kind of just glue each piece so I can get an idea of where I want them to be on the front of my card. And then I took a piece of cardstock, the Nina Solar White cardstock, and created a top folding A2 size card. And I'm just using my Teflon bowl and folder there to give it a nice crease. And I'm going to use my ATG gun to apply the papers down. My first one fell off a little bit there. Now when I'm laying them down, the back papers are going to be wonky, but I'm lining up that front panel, the image panel, is making sure that it's perfectly centered in the card. Then I'm going to add another piece of adhesive to the second layer of the paper. And then I'm going to add some foam to my image panel. I couldn't find my foam adhesive, my big tape roll. It fell off my desk and rolled somewhere on the floor, so I just was using what I had on my desk. So I had some of that just cheap kids craft foam, a piece on there. I just cut it up and use it. But you can see that that works really well with the ATG gun. It's a perfect adhesive for this stuff. Any foam adhesive would work, though, to attach your image panel, and you don't have to add foam either. So I go ahead and put that on there. And then I did use my colorless blender to remove some of the dots from the owl, where I colored over them with blue. I'm here using some clear Wink Stella on parts of the image to give it a little bit of sparkle. And then I'm going to take a white gel pen and I'm going to go back over all the polka dots on the owl where I lifted some of the color with the colorless blender. I lifted some of the color first so that when you use the white gel pen over dark colors, sometimes the color tends to fade or bleed through. So I would have had light blue polka dots. But if you lift up as much as you can, then that white stays nice and bright. So I'm going to go ahead and add some sparkling clear sequins from the mix from Pretty Pink Posh and some Ranger Multi-Medium Matte. Because we know I can't have a project without some sparkling clear sequins. So that pretty much finishes up my project for today. We hope you'll join in. Head over to the Marker Pop blog. This week's challenge is all about July 4th, so you have 2 weeks to enter. And thanks for stopping by, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.